What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's been a long time since I've been making videos. I've been pretty busy, and there's times where I don't feel like, but right now it feels like it's the best time to talk about the uh the 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 playoff prediction. The playoff is coming up pretty soon. The regular season is about to get pretty hot, so I'm gonna do a prediction video. It's been like a long time since I think week 5. That's the last time I did it. Um, yeah, I haven't. It's been a while, so there's that. So yeah, guys. So here we're on to the recordings of this week 12 prediction video. So without further ado, let's go on. So the Bills versus the Texans. This game is coming up today. It should be a very interesting game. But if I'm gonna go pick the Buffalo Bills. I do think the Bills are the best. Are kind of an up and down. The offense is pretty good. The defense, not so much. Against Texas, Davis Mills is gonna start. CJ Stroud is still in concussion protocol, I believe. Yeah, it's Thursday night, so probably, yeah, he couldn't probably won't be able to start yet. So I'm gonna go with the Bills right here. Next, we got the Colts versus the Chiefs. I'm actually gonna go with the Colts. The Chiefs has not played particularly well, and let's be honest. I know some of you guys say, "Oh, the Chiefs they might come back," but I do think that this season specifically, I don't think they're gonna actually gonna be making the Super Bowl this year. They've been kind of been off, and I do think the Colts would just do enough to beat the game. The Patriots versus the Bengals. That should be an interesting game. I know some of you guys may think, "Oh, I know Jamar Chase is not here," but let's. I do think this could be one of those flukiest games of the week. I'm gonna say the Bengals. I know some of you guys may think that that this is a crazy prediction. I mean the Bengals offense is still pretty good, even though Jamar Chase is out. The Bengals defense is still not good, but crazy things has happened. So I'm gonna say this is gonna be my upset of the week. The Jets versus the Ravens. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Now, before I mention this, the Patriots are still a good team, but you know, they probably have to lose at some point. So yeah, there's that. So I'm gonna say the Bengals are gonna win. So the Ravens, they actually picked up their steam lately. I don't know. I do think that this team, I don't know if they can win the Super Bowl, but you know, they actually been climbing back up. Now, granted, the schedule is kind of weak the rest of the way, but still, though, they're gonna climb back up to the playoff race. The Jets, they're probably not gonna do anything much. Um, Next up, um, we got the Browns versus the Raiders. Sugar's debut. Well, he played against the Ravens. He didn't play. He didn't play good. He didn't play good against the Ravens, by the way. But he didn't get first team reps. And he just become the star out of nowhere. So I want to see what he looks like against the Raiders. The offense is really really bad. I didn't expect the Raiders to be this bad. I thought the Raiders are going to be a solid team. I didn't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I thought they're going to be competitive. But they're not even competitive at all. So I'm actually going to pick the Browns to their Sanders debut. I will predict that he will have a pretty solid debut. I don't think he's. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to have a great one, but I do think they're going to win. I'm actually cheering for Shador. In my opinion, I do think he can be a successful quarterback in the NFL, but he needs to, he needs to show what he can do after getting the full first team reps, stuff like that. So I'm gonna give it to the Browns. Steelers versus Bears. This is a tough one. Uh, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is gonna play or not. This is tough. Um, I'm probably gonna pick the Bears, but this could change if Aaron Rodgers plays, but he may not be 100%. You know what? I'm gonna pick the Bears regardless because I don't know if Rodgers is gonna be 100%. I don't think so. So I'm gonna say the Bears. This is this is an easy pick. The Seahawks are gonna decimate the Titans. Titans are probably gonna get the first overall pick again. Which could be good because you may trade down for additional draft capital if you need it. So this team is not gonna contend anytime soon, probably. But yeah, and then you got the Jaguars, the Cardinals. This team is very inconsistent. The Jaguars. They should win this game. I'm gonna pick the Jaguars to win, but don't be. I'm not gonna be surprised if they lose to the Cardinals though, because they've been way too inconsistent right here. Next up, the Vikings versus the Packers. I'm gonna go with the Packers, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers lose because they tend to play down to the competition against weaker teams, which is very very weird. They lost to the Browns, which they're not even a good team. They lost to they lost to the Cowboys. The Cowboys' offense is good, but their defense is bad. Yeah, this is what it is. Their defense is bad. And then they lost to the Panthers. Now, granted, the Panthers they're a solid team, but they're not like a great team or anything like that. So I'm gonna say the Packers are gonna win. Next up, the Giants against the Lions. I'm gonna pick the Lions. I don't know if I think Jack McDart is coming back, but yeah, it's basically a lost season for the Giants already. They do have a good future, but they don't have they're not gonna do anything. So I'm gonna pick the Lions. The Falcons versus the Saints. Oh boy, this is a tough one. I don't know. The Saints they're not a good team, but they are at least trying to win. The Falcons, I don't know. They lost to Michael Penix Jr. They're gonna start Kirk Cousins. This is a tough one. I'm gonna say the Falcons would win, but don't be surprised if the Saints wins. Tyler Shuck, he played fine. He played pretty well yesterday. Now, I don't know how well he will play in this game, but I won't be surprised if the Saints win. But I'm gonna pick the Falcons to win. Next up, Eagles and Cowboys. The Cowboys played really well back on Monday, which against the Raiders, but it's still a pretty good team. And then the Eagles, their offense is very inconsistent. The defense has been really good though. But I'm gonna pick the Cowboys. This is maybe an upset to some, but I know some people are gonna pick the Cowboys to win this because usually Cowboys beat the Eagles at home, and I do think that the Cowboys offense will oversight or like will do just enough against this Eagles defense. And I do think the defense for the Cowboys may not be great, but I do think that maybe in this matchup you could see the Eagles still struggling with with how they play in their offense. So hey, very interesting to see. And then we got the Buccaneers versus the Rams. Um, Picking the Rams. The Buccaneers, they've been pretty cold. They've been cold as of late. They're still a good team. If they lose, then they can still win out and be what? I do think they're gonna be. Hold on. I think they're gonna be like they can be like 12-5 or 11-6 because they have an easy schedule after this. So it could be pretty interesting to see. But I'm gonna say the Rams are going to win. They're just the better team overall. And then next up, the Panthers versus the 49ers. That could be an interesting game. I know even on the surface, it may not be an interesting game, but it could be an interesting game. Bryce Young have a best game of his career. They're going against the 49ers team, who is injured, but they're still a pretty solid team. So if I have to pick who's going to win, I'm probably going to pick the 49ers. They're probably the better team overall, but don't be surprised if the Panthers fight back. I do expect it to be a pretty close game. I just think that in like the first quarter, you can see the 49ers do well, and then the second and third quarter, the Panthers are going to be in the game, but in the fourth quarter, I do think the 49ers will seal the deal. And then yeah, so so yeah, if you take a look at the playoff picture, look at that. The Rams are leading it, number one. Eagles Eagles 8-3. If my prediction gets right, so it should be very interesting to see what the playoff race could be. So yeah, all right guys. So that is it for the video. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.